Okay, so this is the summer season from 2015, Foundation Paper 2. As I mentioned when I kicked off the Paper 1, the grade boundaries for this particular season were as high as they've ever been. You needed 121 in order to get a grade C. And in my view, they were quite challenging papers as well. So on this paper, you need to be getting around about 61 or better in order to ensure a grade C. So let's kick off. Calculator allowed, remember? Fairly traditional start where you've got a shopping bill to work with. So the first part has been worked out for you. 6 cartons of apple juice at £2.47 per carton. So 6 times 247, £14.82. 5 biscuits, 167, £8.35. 3 tea at 4.49, £13.47, and then you need to add them up and remember to add the one that they give you as well. So you're looking at £40, and bear in mind that the calculator doesn't know that you're working in money, the context of money, so it doesn't add the pence column for you, so you need to make sure that you add that. Chris is given 5% discount, so you're allowed to use your calculator for this. I'll show you a couple of different ways of doing it, but the way that I would teach this is to write 5% as a decimal, which would be the same as writing 5 pence in pounds, which would be 0.05. Multiply that by the cost of the bill. So £2.1. Then you need to make sure you understand the question. Sometimes these questions will ask you for how much the discount is, which is that answer. Sometimes the question will ask you, so how much do they pay? In which case you would have to subtract that from the £40.20. On your calculator you've got a percentage button, which is shift and the open bracket sign, and you could have done that by doing 5%, just like that, times £40.20, and that would give it you straight away. So if you know how to use the percentage button, it's there for you. Similarly, if you weren't sure what 5% was as a decimal, if you type it in and press equals, that's what it would be as a fraction, that's what it would be as a decimal. So again, that's there to help you. So the marks for that question are straightforward enough. You get 1 for each answer up there. 1 mark for the method, 1 mark for £2.1. Another common question here, picking the right units. So the width of a football pitch, well, kilometres would be the distance between towns. 50 metres, a metre would be a sort of adult pace, 1 step. Millimetres, these little things here are millimetres, so 50 of those takes you to there. And centimetres, well, that's 30 centimetres, so 50 centimetres isn't going to be the width of a football pitch. So that's what we're looking for there. Weight of a man is typically kilos. Grams is a light, small measure of weight. Milligrams is even lighter. So you're either going for 70 kilograms or 7 kilograms. A bag of sugar is a kilo, 1 kilogram. So a man is going to weigh more than 7 bags of sugar. So you're going to go for that one. Volume of liquid is always the confusing one, because volume is cubic, so centimeters cubed, but in liquid, milliliters and liters are also volumes of liquid. So centimeters cubed is not a liquid measure, so although it's volume, it isn't that one. A litre, think of a bottle of pop, that would be a litre. There's more than a teacup in a litre then. So that's those two out. So we've got a choice of these two. 1 milliliter, if you think of a medicine spoon, A medicine spoon, a teaspoon, has got 5 mil in, so that's less than a teaspoon, so that's the one that you're looking for. And then for the area of a page in a book, if you think about this page is 21 centimeters by, say, 30 centimeters, so its area is going to be in centimeters squared. So it's not going to be meters squared, it's not going to be square millimeters, that's volume, so that's the one that you're looking for. 1 mark for each. Okay, another common question early on in these papers is where you're using a measuring scales of some form or another. The most important thing to work out first of all is what each little line on the scale is worth. So with this one, you're going from 0 to 100 in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 jumps. So each little one is going to be 100 divided by 5, which is 20. So each unit on this scale is 20. Check. 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. Grand. I know what I'm doing. 320 milliliters, therefore, is going to take me to the first one above 300. So clearly mark on the scale where that is. A very small jug is filled with water. The water is then poured into an empty measuring cylinder. The process is carried out a total of 6 times. The final water level is shown in the diagram. How much does the jug hold? So this is a question that if you don't read it, you're going to get wrong, because what you're going to write down immediately is 480. And then you're going to move on. But what this question is saying is it's taken 6 goes to take that up to 480. So in order to work out how much water the jug held, you've got to divide that by 6. So you're going to do 480 divided by 6 is 80 milliliters. Okay, so for that question, 1 mark for that. For this one, 1 mark for 480. So if you'd have just written down 480, you'll have thrown 2 marks away. A method mark for the divided by 6, and an answer mark for the 80. The water in the cylinder on the left is to be poured into the cylinder on the right, which already has some water on it. Draw a line on the right hand cylinder to show the new water level. So first of all, we know that this has got 480 ml in. Now this has got a different scale. This is going from 0 to 200 in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 jumps. So 200 divided by 5 is 40 milliliters. So each one of those is 40. So in here you have got 360, 40, 400 less 40, 360 mil. So when that gets poured into there, it's going to have $480 plus the 360 that's already there, 840 milliliters. So 840 is going to take us, remember these are going up in 40s, so it's going to take us to there. So it's important that you read the question carefully and work out what the new scale is for that second container. So with that one, we have got 1 mark for the 840 and 1 mark for the correct line on the cylinder. Counting squares question, again, very common. This one is worth 3, so it's a bit more work than just counting the squares, and there's the extra bit of work. Each square that we count, we have to multiply by 4. So we're going to say to the examiner what we're doing. Count squares at least half covered, and let's go. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52. So we're going to multiply that by 4, 208. Now they will allow you 49 to 54 squares there. So you've got that range. So if you're dithering about, oh, should I have included that one or that one, you know, there's a range there which they will accept. So there's 1 mark for counting the squares, 1 mark for an answer which is 49 to 54, and 1 mark for then correctly working that out by multiplying by 4. Right, then we're on to our symmetry question. As I've mentioned any number of times, this is easier if you turn the page around so your line of sight is along the reflection. Okay, so that point there is 2 that side of the mirror, so its reflection is going to be the same number of squares the opposite side. Work with this point then, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's going to take you to there. And this one, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And use a ruler to join those together. Oops, overshot. So you will use a ruler, and that will be something you can then rub out. I'll use a dirty Tipp-Ex. Then you've got the curved lines to do. So the 2 marks for this, 1 mark would be for doing the 2 straight lines, and then the next mark would be for doing the curve. So first of all, we've got the end point of the curve, so let's look at the start point. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's going to start there, and then if you do dots where it's crossing the lines, it makes the curve easier so we've got that sort of shape. Now, it's a little bit too steep there, but you can see that that's not bad. That would get you the marks. So as I said, 1 mark there for the straight, 1 mark for the curve. Then they're testing your knowledge of mathematical terms. Right, on the special names, so many times I have to mark these wrong. That's touching, touching, tangents touch. So that's a tangent. And that, going from the center to the outside, is the radius. Measure in centimeters the line AB. Well, if you've got the full size page, it will be different, the one that I'm going to write here. And you have to do it accurately. So it's going to be 6.3 or 6.4 would be acceptable. Draw a line parallel to AB. So a parallel line is one that runs in exactly the same direction. So you want to line your ruler up with AB and slide it without changing this direction until it goes through C. So that would be parallel, and just then to nail home you understand what you're doing, if you put those 2 little arrows on it, that signifies that those are parallel lines. Perpendicular is the one they also ask. Perpendicular would be where you're lining up to get a right angle. So that would be perpendicular. This time they're asking for parallel. So 1 mark for tangent, 1 for radius, 1 for an accurate measurement, and 1 for a parallel line. We'll need that shortly. Question 6, equivalent fractions. Now, with this, you're on a calculator allowed paper, so you can do all the work that you want using your fraction button on your calculator. So 2/5, use your fraction button, 2/5 equals 0.4. So I know that's one. Then work through these. So 10/15, 10/15 equals 2/3. So that ain't one. 6/15, 2/5. That's one. 8/10, 4/5. Nope. And 4/10, 2/5. So there are 3 of them. So again, plonking that into your calculator as a fraction button, turning it into a decimal using SD, and then typing those fractions in, pressing equals, and your calculator will cancel them down to their simplest form for you. 7% written as a decimal. Well, you can either use my write pounds in pence, or, as I showed you a little bit earlier, use the 7% button on your calculator, press equals, that's it as a fraction, S to D, decimal, 0.07. This one, 48% as a decimal. Of in maths means times, you need to know that. So you do 0.48 times 82.5, 39.6. Or, using your percentage button on your calculator, 48% of means times, and you'll get the same thing. 3/7, use the fraction button on your calculator. Of means times, 84.36. So that question, if that's on a paper 2, use your calculator. It takes all the guessing out for you. So with this one, 2 marks if you get them all circled and nothing wrong. 1 mark if you got 2 right and nothing wrong, and any other combination of right and wrong, and you won't get any marks. Oh, I've missed one out. I haven't actually answered part B, have I? That is for part A. Part B, 1,000 apples are put into crates. Each crate can hold 72 apples. How many crates? So we need to see how many 72s will fit into 1,000. So 1,000 divided by 72 is 13 crates. So you're going to be able to, so that's 13.8 recurring. So you'd have 13 full crates, and that would take, so 13 lots of 72, 936 apples in, which would leave 1,000 less 932, sorry, 936, 64 apples left over. Okay, so 13 crates would be 1 mark, and 64 apples left over would be the other. 0.07 is 1 mark. 1 mark for your method, 0.48 times 82.5, and 39.6 will get you your answer, and similarly with this, your method and your answer. Right, question 7, you need to have the full-sized sheet in order to do this. So just zoom out. Okay, so the diagram shows a cuboid with measurements as shown. Draw an accurate net for the cuboid. So what that means is if that was made out of cardboard and you could lay it out flat, what would it look like? And 6x3 face, so the 6x3 face is the top or the bottom part of that. So if I take that to be the bottom, then that, when I open that, will fold down. So I'll have a 3x4 centimeter flap on that side. So that 4 centimeters there is going to come down to lie flat. So if I measure out 4 there and 4 there, that's going to be that flap there. Now there's going to be the same on the opposite side of that. So I'm going to do another 4 centimeter rectangle on this side. Okay, so that's the two ends. Now I've got the front. The front is going to fold downwards to come to here. So here I'm going to have this rectangle, which is 6 centimeters wide, which is that side, and it's going to have a height of 4 centimeters. So it's going to come down 4 centimeters. And that makes sense, because if that's 4, that's 4, they're going to join up, so they need to be the same size. So that's the front. I'm then going to have exactly the same for the back panel, which is going to drop behind the base. So I'm going to have another 4 centimeter flap. Which is going so that's the base, that's that side, that's that end, that's the front, that's the back. If the shape was an open box, so it was an empty box, that would be the end of it. But because this is a cuboid, it's as if it's a box with a lid on. So I need to have a top on this box as well, which is either going to go there or it's going to go there. And the way that I've drawn this, there's more room down there for it. So this top lid is going to be 6 centimeters wide and 3 centimeters deep. So I'm going to need a 3 centimeter piece on the bottom so that's the top of the cuboid. So if I just write on there, you wouldn't have to do this in the exam, but it might be clearer to you. So if that's the base, that's the right hand end, that's the left end, that's the back of the box, cuboid, this is the front, and then this is the top. So 4 marks for that. How are those 4 marks awarded? There's 1 mark for at least the back and the front. There's 1 mark for both 6x4. Hang on. 1 6x3. So there's 1 mark for there's 1 mark for the back and front, there's 1 mark for the left and right, there's 1 mark for the top being somewhere, and then 1 mark if the whole thing is correct. Okay, so that's question 7. Okay, so we're into the grade E questions now, as long as we haven't lost any marks so far. Right, describing words, the rule for continuing each of the following sequences. It's a going down, so it's either subtracting or dividing. So let's have a look what we've got there. That's going down 5. That's going down 5. Yeah, they're all going down 5. So the next one is 21. There's no mark for that. What they want here is the rule. So the rule is subtract 5 from previous number. Subtract means take away, and you're taking it from the previous number to get the next number. Now this is an interesting one. It's increasing, but it's also bouncing from positive to negative. So it isn't an add rule and it isn't a subtract rule. Hopefully you can see it's a times 4 rule. 1 times 4, 4 4s are 16, 16 4s are 64. So it's a times 4 rule, but because the sign is flipping from positive to negative, that means that in fact you're multiplying by negative 4. Because if the signs that you're multiplying are different, the answer is negative. If the signs you're multiplying are the same, the answer becomes positive. So plus 1 times minus 4. 1 4 is 4, different signs, negative. 4 4s are 16, same signs, positive. 4 16s are 64, different signs, plus minus, negative. So what you're doing is multiplying previous number by negative 4 or minus 4. A shirt has B buttons. Write down in terms of B the number of buttons on 10 shirts. So if you don't like B, if you don't like letters, replace it with a number until you know what you're doing. So if a shirt has got 5 buttons, how many buttons are there going to be on 10 shirts? 5 buttons on 1, on 10, there'll be 50. Hopefully you can see you're going to be doing 10 times 5. We haven't got 5 buttons, we've got B buttons, so it's going to be 10 times B. So B times 10, or 10 times B, or 10B. Any of those would be fine. Okay, so either one of those would get you the answer. A total of K blocks are arranged in rows of 5 blocks. There are no blocks left over. Write down in terms of K the number of rows. Okay, we don't like K, so let's say 10 again. So if there are 10 blocks and they're arranged in rows of 5, you would do 10 divided by 5, each row would have 2 in. If it was 50, we do 50 divided by 5, each row would have 10 blocks. So it's that divided by 5. So K divided by 5, or in algebra we tend to use the over for divide. 1 mark for each of those. Question 9. Before 2010, the lowest temperature ever recorded on Earth was minus 89.2. In August 2010, a new record low temperature of minus 93.2 was recorded. What is the difference between these temperatures? So what we've got 0 up there, positive in that direction, and we've got all the way down here, flipping cold, minus 89.2, and then a little bit colder again, minus 93.2. And we want to know what this distance is here. What's the difference between them? So basically, it's, if you go from 89.2, 89.2, 90.2, 91.2, 93.2, there's a 3 degrees difference. Hang on, 89.2, 90.2, 91.2, 92.2, 93.2. There's a 4 degree difference. So the difference between these temperatures is 4 degrees. B. On July the 2nd, 1936, a temperature of 46 degrees was recorded in Minnesota, USA. On February 1996, a temperature of minus 51 degrees was recorded in Minnesota. What's the difference between these temperatures? So what we've got this time now is we've got one very hot temperature of 46, and we've got one very cold temperature, which is the other side of 0, which is 51 degrees. So the difference between them is going to be 51 and 46. 51 to get you back to 0, then another 46 up there. So hopefully you can see that that's going to have a difference of 97 degrees. What temperature is midway between negative 12, minus 12 and 16? So again, what we've got here is extremes either side of the 0. So the distance between those two is 28. So what you're looking for is 14 degrees between them. Difference between them is 28. You're looking for 14 degrees. So if you're going 14 degrees down from there, you're looking at 2. So that's 14 degrees and that's 14 degrees. So the temperature midway is going to be 2 degrees. So don't be afraid on an exam paper of drawing number lines. They make life much easier for you to understand what's happening with negative numbers either side of 0. A lot of work, the way that I've explained it, but 3 marks, and that could be 3 marks to make all the difference to you. Question 10. Right, so this is our quality of written communication question. So we know that of those 6 marks, 4 of them are for the maths, 2 of them for the explanation. So let's read what we've got to do. Table below gives the charges for hiring a concrete mixer by the day. There are special offers for hiring the concrete mixer for a weekend or from Monday to Friday. Okay, so if you're on a daily rate, if you only want it for 1 day, it's going to cost you £16.10. If you want it for 2 days, it's going to cost you £16.10 for the first, but then only another £18.15 for every day after that. If you want it on a Saturday and a Sunday, it's going to cost you that for both days. And if you want it for 5 days, Monday to Friday, it'll cost you that for the lot. James wants to hire a concrete mixer from Monday to Thursday. How much cheaper is it to hire a concrete mixer for a week? So Monday to Thursday is 4 days. So the cost for that £16.10 for the first day, plus 3 days at £8.15. And you could work that out separately or all in one go. The way that I've written it there, I can do it on the calculator all in one go. So £16.10 plus, work this bit out first, is what you're telling the calculator by using brackets. 3 lots of £8.15. So £16.10 is for the first day, and then 3 days worth of £8.15. So just hiring it from Monday to Thursday is going to cost £40.55. So it's going to be cheaper to hire it for the week. So you will save £40.55 less £32.20, £8.35 by hiring for a week. So if you're only hiring for 4 days, ridiculously, it's going to cost you £8 more than if you just say, hey, I'll borrow it, I'll hire it for that much longer. So there's not much explanation to do there, it's just the way that you logically lay it out. So 6 marks. The maths first of all then. You're going to have 1 mark for however you've done that calculation, and 1 mark for getting £40.55. Then you're going to have 1 mark for showing how you work out the saving, and 1 mark for working out what your saving is. So those are the 4 maths marks, and then your quality of communication is for laying it out in a logical way and saying what each line of maths is either doing or what its outcome is telling you. Okay, so we got full marks so far, we've got a D. So it's the next clutch of questions now, they're going to take us towards the grade C. The ages of 8 members of a chess club were blah. Median. Median, think medium, think middle, think, right, I've got to order them. To find the middle, I've got to put them in order. So the youngest there is 15. Put a little dot under it so you know that you've done it. Scan again. 24. 28. 31. 32. 39. 47. 60. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Median, I need the middle. Now because I've got an even number of data items, haven't got a middle, I've got a middle pair. So the median is halfway between these two. So the median will be 31.5. The range, easiest to work out now from your ordered list. 60 largest, take away smallest, and you have to work that out. 45. Mean, well, that's the one that's got the most marks, it's the most work. First of all, you've got to find the total. So, do the work. 15 plus 24 plus 28 plus, hang on, I've gone off the page, 28 plus 31 plus 32 plus 39 plus 47 plus 60, 276. The mean is the total divided by the number of data items you've got, which in this case is 8, 34.5. So the average age, the mean age of the people coming to the chess club is 34.5. A new member, age 31, joins the club. What will happen to the mean age? Well, he's younger than most of the club. He's younger than the average. So that means he's going to bring that down. If an older person joined, that's above that, it would increase the mean age. So he's younger, so the mean will decrease. Explain your choice, because he is younger than the mean, so his age will reduce, make it smaller. Okay, marks for that. Number 11. 1 mark for ordering, 1 mark for finding the middle, 1 mark for 45. For this one, 1 mark for the total, 1 mark for the method of finding the mean, 1 mark for the answer. And for this one, there are 2 marks for correctly ticking the box, but you also have to explain that it's because he's below, his age is below that mean, that you're going to get the exclamation mark there. Alright, so we're nearly there, we're nearly at our grade C's. Exchange rate questions, again very common on paper 2. Theo went on holiday to Brunei. He changed £950 into Brunei dollars when the exchange rate was £1 is 2.12 Brunei dollars. So £950 is going to buy him, every one of those, he's going to get 2.12, so he's going to have 950 times 2014 BND. Whilst on holiday, he went on a trip which cost 180 BND, so now we're turning it back into pounds, so we're not going to be multiplying by 2.12, we're going to be dividing by 2.12. 84 pounds 90p or 91p. 91 because the next one across is 5 or more, so 84 pound 91. And we'll stop there, and I'll pick up from question 13 on in the second set of video clips.